So what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you are all doing great today. Yes, I know it's been a long time since I made a sit down video like this. It's been some time. We are coming back like I promised in my last sit down video, which was the recap of, or kind of like the end of 2019 video. I stated that 2020 is going to be a much better year for YouTube. January was a bit of a slow start, but we are ramping things up. We are warmed up. Things are getting better, and February should be a lot better month than January, and hopefully things are just gonna move on further and further and further. All right, so diving straight into it, let's talk about the backpack of my choosing and the backpack that I have been using for the last year now. That is the Incase DSLR Pro backpack in this army green. Honestly, I've been loving this bag over the last year because I purchased this bag early 2019. So I purchased it around January, I think, of 2019. So I think it's been exactly a year since I purchased this, and I've put this motherfucker through so much. This guy has been through hell and back. Like, it's got scuffs, it's got scratches on the bag, it's been through a lot. I'm also gonna start traveling to the United States a lot more often because we have a place now in Miami. So pretty much this year and the years to come, I'm gonna be traveling really often back and forth. So having a backpack that can handle it is gonna be really, really important. And this guy has been getting the job done. So pretty much in the first compartment right here, this is like a small little pouch. It's a really nice multi-purpose pouch because it has this kind of like soft felt material. And in here I carry a microfiber cloth. This is kind of just to wipe down lenses, to wipe down my phone. Anything that's sensitive, I usually wipe things down. And I also have some miscellaneous. I have these torque screws that I use to tighten my cage, to tighten the monitor, anything of those sorts. I use these torque screws. I just keep them in here because they're quick access. And I also have this HDMI clamp piece. This is to help prevent the HDMI from getting damaged. So instead of the cable getting damaged and the port on the camera getting damaged, what happens is if I accidentally bump into that area or it falls on the port side, the only thing that's gonna break is the cable. That's an easy replacement. It's like $15, $20 compared to if the cable broke and the port on the camera broke, that would be potentially $150 replacement, having to ship my camera out, wait until it gets there, wait until it, the payment's approved, waiting until they do the repair and send it back. It could be a long time without the camera, and the expense is really expensive. With that money, I could replace like 20 cables, and I'd rather do that than having to replace the full port. So that's that. Then there's another little pocket right here. It's like this front little piece right here. It's a small compartment where you can carry small accessories. I usually put my raincoat in there for when I'm traveling. It's nice and sleek and it fits in there. You can fit papers and stuff like that. Really useful multi-pocket. You can use it for whatever. And so yeah, these are the front two first pockets. The next one is kind of like in the middle. This is like the only proper full zipped up kind of compartment, and this is a really big compartment. We have multiple different slots. For example, right here I actually carry my laptop. I carry my 14-inch. This is my 14-inch Lenovo Yoga 920. This laptop has been with me for almost 2 years, and of course I got this laptop when I wasn't making money, so that's kind of the reason why I still have this. I haven't upgraded it, but I haven't seen the reason to upgrade. I'm also not the person to just jump to a new product if I actually don't need to do it, because the thing is, why buy a brand new laptop when I could buy a brand new camera or buy a brand new lens? Because in my opinion, lenses, filters, audio and lighting, and bags, they do a much bigger change for me personally than getting a brand new laptop, just because I feel the specs are a little bit outdated. But generally speaking, this laptop has been through the shit. It has so many scuffs on it, as you guys can see. Tons and tons of scuffs. It's not showing up on camera because the camera isn't focusing, but there's a ton of scuffs on it. It's been through a lot, but it is a beautifully built laptop. As you guys can see, it's a phenomenal laptop with an amazing keyboard. So I use it for daily tasks. I watch YouTube videos, I watch movies, I type on it, I use it for web browsing, and I sometimes photo edit on it when I travel. And when I start traveling more often, which I'm going to this year, I'm probably going to be either selling this laptop and selling my PC, and probably going to be getting a really big 15 or 16-inch powerful laptop that I can edit when I'm at home. I could just dock it, or and when I'm traveling, I could just take it with me and still get 4K, 6K, and even 8K edits done when I'm traveling. So that's the plan for that. Moving on, there's another compartment right here, which is kind of like the laptop compartment, where you could put things like tablets and those types of things. And here I have an external hard drive. This is a 2 terabyte WD drive. It's called the My Passport drive. I back up my footage and stuff on there. I also have some other stuff in here. I have a power bank in here, if I could get it out. I have a power bank in here, which I actually stole out of a store. It was laying on the floor, open package, and I was like, you know what, let's just nick it. Why not? Let's just take it. I took it, still works, and I'm glad I took it because it was like $45, I think. Pretty expensive, pretty happy I took it. I also have a surge protector, which looks like this. It has 2 plugs on it. It is a surge protector, which protects my electronics from surges. So pretty much if the power goes out or the outlet blows out, it's not gonna fry any of my items. So I have the same thing with my computer. It's plugged into the surge protector piece, where if power goes out, or I don't know, the actual power blows out, it's not gonna fry any of my computer parts. I'd rather pay 50 bucks for this than having to replace thousands of dollars worth of computers. So highly recommend that. And I forgot to mention, it also has small little compartments like this one right here. There's like 3 separate compartments. This one I hold things like cables. I got this HDMI cable for my monitor. I keep my business cards, which I actually have pretty outdated business cards. These are shitty business cards. I am in the process of updating these. These are terrible. F it. Yeah. So you can also keep things like pens and pencils in these compartments here. And the thing is, this pouch is so thick that when I usually travel, I keep things like my socks, my underwear, my shirts, extra clothing in this compartment, because that's kind of the only other place I could put my clothing in, and it kind of stretches out quite far. So what I fit in here for now is just an accessory pouch of just random miscellaneous bullshit that I don't actually need on a regular basis. I have random tools and stuff that I might need on a shoot. For example, if my stabilizer needs this one piece, I have it in here. For some reason something breaks, I have backup pieces for it. So that's kind of why that's there. And yeah, this compartment spans out quite a bit. You could fit quite a bit of clothing. So if you're trying to travel for 2 to 3 days, this backpack is good enough for that. 100% recommended. Now let's move on to the fun stuff, which is the back of the backpack. Before we actually dive into the back of it, let's quickly talk about the top compartment. There's actually a top quick access piece. So it has a handle here and it has a quick access compartment. Here, as you can see, we have my camera. And if you pull out the camera, here it is. You pulled out the camera. It's great. You can fit the camera comfortably in there. So if you're doing photos, you're trying to just quickly take photos, you can pretty much wear the backpack like this, throw it off the side, get to the quick access pouch, get the camera out and pull it out and start taking photos, or you could put it away. It's not as comfortable as Peak Design's everyday backpacks, which have like these side opening pieces. It's not as good as that, but nonetheless, that gets the job done and it's better than not having it at all. Also, I forgot to mention, there's some side pouches too. Right here, we have this water bottle holder, which I have band-aids in them. So just in case my clients or I, for some reason, get hurt on set, we have bandages, because the worst thing you could do is to get a cut or a bruise infected. So especially if you're in a process of working, put on a band-aid. The moment you come home, disinfect it. A lot of people make the mistake of wearing the band-aid for multiple days until it falls off. The band-aid prevents air from getting into your wound, which prevents it from healing. At work, working, or outside, keep the band-aid on, but when you're at home, take it off. Your shit's gonna heal faster. Quick little tip. Also, I don't know what the hell this is for, but I think this is for if you're gonna be, I don't know, fitting your keys if you want to. Usually keys go into this compartment, but if, I don't know, maybe some small miscellaneous can fit in this pocket here. I don't know why anybody would use that, but it's there nonetheless. You could fit some small things in there, fit a ton of stuff there as well. And this side, we have these straps, which can hold a tripod. So you put a tripod on the side. I usually put my tripod, the one I'm using to record this video with, I put the tripod on the side, and that's kind of how I travel when I used to go to downtown to take photos. That's what I'm going to be doing when I'm going to go to the forest. That's where I keep my tripod if I do take it with me. Alright, so moving on from that, let's dive into the back of the backpack. This backpack opens up from the back, so this is the front of the bag, as you guys can see. This is the front of the bag, and this is the back of it, the one that goes on the back. Or actually, I think it's vice versa. I think this is considered the front, and this is the back. I don't know, whatever orientation you like to call it. This is the part that goes on your back. This is where the camera equipment sits, so it's kind of safe from getting theft. Obviously, your shit can get stolen from this side, so if you have your laptop in there, that is vulnerable to getting stolen. But I don't know who's gonna walk up to you and open your compartment with loud ass zippers trying to pull shit out of it. It's not a very smart idea. idea. Don't ever try doing that because you're definitely gonna get caught. So yeah, here is the actual backpack itself. This is pretty much the shit you can fit in your backpack. Look at all the stuff in there. There's a lot of compartments. You can fit quite a bit of equipment in here. Of course, depending on your orientation, you can fit more stuff. I fit a lot more stuff. Like, I could put my lenses standing up like this. So if you have a lot more prime lenses, you can, like, instead of having your lenses lie down like this, you can have them stand up and you could fit twice the amount of lenses. It just really depends how you want to separate and how you want to configure it. But for me, I don't have too many lenses, so that's why I keep them laying down. But if you have like 4, 5, 6 lenses, like 6 prime lenses, then of course you can stack them up on each other, and this backpack can fit quite a bit of stuff. All right, so let's start talking about the actual gear itself. Here is my camera that I use and I have been using for the last year. This is the Sony a6300. This has been my workhorse camera for the last year. I purchased it back in late December of 2018, so it's been exactly a year and like a month since I purchased it. I think by the time this is being uploaded, it's gonna be exactly a year and a month, so 13 months since I purchased this. Absolute amazing purchase for the money, for $950. Couldn't have gotten a better camera. Like, it's absolute beast. I'm actually shooting this video on my cousin's M50, so it's not being shot in 4K. This has 4K, full APS-C with autofocus. It's beautiful 6K downsample. It's absolutely gorgeous 4K. This doesn't have it. This has 4K, but it has an immense crop with really shitty autofocus. So I'm using the full HD mode to get the full autofocus. So it's not as good of quality as this camera, and it costs just slightly more. Like, this guy, you can buy it used for around $750, $800, sometimes even cheaper depending on how used they are and how badly the seller wants to get rid of it. But these cameras are absolutely amazing. I have it kitted out with a small rig cage. As you can see, it's a small rig cage. This cage is absolutely amazing for if you're trying to mount things like a top handle grip, which this right here is a top handle grip, which goes on the top of the camera like this, and it kind of helps me hold it when I'm doing down low angles, or if I'm trying to get more stable shots, because I have a much better grip on the camera. I can bring it closer to my chest, which means my hands are not holding the entire weight. Now my entire body, like my shoulders and my chest, are holding the weight now instead of just the front parts of my arms. Because if you've ever held your camera out like this, your arms start to shake, and this doesn't have in-body image stabilization, which I honestly don't care about. I'd rather have physical weight on the camera to help me get the stable shot than have to add a fake digital stabilizer for me. So for me personally, don't care this doesn't have image stabilization, but I do care if there are shakes or crazy disgusting micro jitters. So things like this, bringing it closer to your body and adding weight to the camera, helps reduce that. And pretty much also with this cage, I'm also able to use my external monitor, the FeelWorld F5, I think it's called. Yeah, the FeelWorld F5. It's a 5-inch monitor. It's absolutely amazing. It's full HD. I think it's 400 nits, maybe 300 nits. It's pretty good bright. You can see it outdoors. Usually good monitors or more expensive monitors, if you want to be able to see them outdoors, you got to have one that has at least 800, if not 1,000 nits of brightness. But this one I think has 300 something, 400, maybe even 500 nits of brightness, and it gets the job done perfectly fine. It's full HD, which is actually sharper than what small HD focus does. They do 720p on their 5-inch monitors, which is not a big deal, but if you're trying to get perfect tack sharp images, you're trying to do a lot of manual focus work, probably not the monitor to go for. Something like this gives you a full HD readout or picture on a 5-inch screen, and it's perfect. It's a lot better than the shitty LCD on the back of the Sony camera bodies. These have awful LCDs, and this helps pretty much magnify the image and helps me get a lot better focus and a lot better exposure. So let's talk about the lenses I use for my a6300. The first lens is the Sigma 16mm f1.4 contemporary lens. This lens is absolutely amazing. It's a 24mm f2 full frame equivalent. Beautiful lens, one of the sharpest on the market. The color reproduction, the bokeh on it is absolutely amazing. If you're trying to get amazing vlogging, if you're trying to vlog, this is probably the best combo you can get for the money. If not, the a6100 also has 4K, and I think that one's around $800 brand new, and that has a flip up screen, so that one's probably even better for vlogging. So it's great. This lens is phenomenal, and this lens camera combo is an absolute beast of a setup. It gets the job done really nicely, and I use it on client shoots, I've done portrait shoots with it, landscape, architecture, photography. Beautiful, beautiful lens and a phenomenal camera setup. I'm gonna be investing in a follow focus unit really soon, so I'm gonna be pretty much outfitting all of my lenses with this follow focus ring on all my lenses. It just makes it look a lot more professional, a lot nicer. And to be honest, if you can make your camera look big and professional, clients love that. All right, moving on to the next part of my bag is these two compartments here. These are where you can find my other two lenses. This one right here is the Sigma 30mm f1.4 contemporary lens. So the same contemporary lineup lens as the 16mm one that I had on the body right now. This is the 30mm variant, and this is actually the sharpest APS-C lens I think you can get on the market right now. There might be a different lens now in 2020 that is sharper, but I'm pretty sure this is still the sharpest lens for APS-C cameras. It's absolutely incredible. And the amazing thing about the Sony bodies is they have the thing called clear image zoom, and you can pretty much zoom in on your lenses. So if you're shooting in video mode and you're shooting in 24 frames per second, it only works in 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second. Modes that aren't slow motion, you can use the clear image zoom. So my 16mm pretty much becomes a 16 to 32mm, which is absolutely amazing. Like the fact that I get like that nice of a focal range, like double the amount of focal ranges now on just the one prime lens. So now I'm not only am I getting the price, the size, the speed, and the sharpness of a prime lens, I'm also getting the convenience of a zoom lens, which is absolutely incredible. The 30mm goes from 30 to 60, so I'm pretty much getting a 16 to 60mm at f1.4 with the full entire sensor readout. It's not zooming in on the sensor, it's a full sensor readout, full sharpness, no quality loss. It's absolutely incredible, and both these lenses are beautifully sharp. I think both lenses combined are less than $900, which is an absolute steal. So it's a joy to use both these lenses. Both lenses highly recommended. If you're shooting on the Sony a6000 lineup, definitely recommend picking up the contemporary lenses. They're really well priced and they have amazing performance. The next lens and the last lens is my nice nifty 50. It's the Canon nifty 50. It's the classic f1.8 50mm lens. It's a cheap lens, but it's probably the best lens you can get for the money. It has a metal mount on it, absolutely amazing. These lenses also have a metal mount on them. They're pretty nice, they're beautiful. This one also has a metal mount, and surprisingly, even though it's made out of more cheap plastic than these are made out of a lot harder plastic. I think this is actually made out of very heavy duty plastic or lightweight metal. This is made out of more cheap plastic. Well, of course, it's a very cheap lens, but I think Canon really did an amazing job with this lens. And I put a cheap Comlight adapter on it because I don't really use autofocus in video. You can't use autofocus in video when you're shooting on Canon lenses on Sony bodies. You can only get autofocus in photo mode. So when I'm shooting photos, this is my portrait go-to if I'm trying to get that beautiful blurry background, because it's like an 85 equivalent. I usually like to use the 16 and the 30mm because I actually enjoy doing wide angle portrait shots or medium angle portrait shots. But if I'm trying to get more of that like tight 85mm look, then this 50 produces amazing results. And if I'm trying to get cinematic B-roll shots for, I don't know, for a short film, for a music video, for anything like that, this lens absolutely gets the job done beautifully, and it's sharp as well. It's fast and it gets the job done perfectly. All right, so let's move on. The next compartment is this one right here. This is where I carry my microphone. This right here is not the microphone. This is a dead cat. Prevents wind noise and that nasty crackling when you're outside in rainy and loud conditions. It prevents that disgusting wind noise. But that's where I usually put my video mic go. I'm actually using it right now to record the audio for this video, so that's where it usually goes. And honestly, it's a great little compartment, great microphone, gets the job done perfectly. I've been using it for the last 3 years of my filmmaking career, and it's been doing the job perfectly. And with the H1 zoom, which I'm using to pretty much dual record the audio with post-production editing, absolute beautiful sound, and somehow I'm continuously getting better and better and better audio with this cheap $90 microphone. Moving on to the last part of the actual inner compartment, right here we have one pouch where I hold my MPF batteries. These are batteries that I power my monitor with, and I also power my lights. Like this light back here, I power it with an MPF battery as well. These are nice Sony MPF batteries. They're pretty big. This one right here is like the really big one, and I only have 2 for now. I'm going to be getting 2 more because I am going to be getting this Tilta adapter, which helps me use this battery to power my A6300. So instead of having 5 million of those shitty tiny Sony batteries that can only power my camera for 40-50 minutes at a time, I can have one of these that can power it for an entire 5, 6, 7, maybe even an 8-hour shoot, and power both my camera and my monitor. So 2 batteries can easily get me through an 8 to 10 hour shoot, no problem if I ever see the need to shoot for that long. It's gonna be amazing. Also, right next to it, I have a filter pouch. This is a cheap, shitty filter pouch holder. I am in the process of getting a brand new one, but this one holds 3 filters. I have my ND filter right here. This is my neutral density filter. Need to upgrade it. It's a very cheap one from Gobi. It's not good. It has a really nasty green cast to it, which means that every time I shoot with the ND filter, I have to correct it in camera, and sometimes even more in post-production to get the right white balance, and it's kind of annoying. I also have this polarizing filter, which is also a cheap polarizing filter. I don't even know what company this is. This is Platinum. It's a company called Platinum. I don't know what this company is and why they're making filters, but this one has a bluish, purplish color cast. Not as strong as the ND filter, but it's still pretty strong, and it kind of darkens the image as well, which polarizing filters aren't supposed to dramatically darken your image, because ND filters are pretty much polarizers. Like this one right here, it's 2 polarizers put together to create a neutral density filter, but a regular polarizer shouldn't be giving me like 2 stops of darkness. Like, it shouldn't be bringing my exposure by 2 stops. Like, doesn't really make sense. So that's why I'm going to be replacing these really soon. And my last filter is this Black Pro Mist filter, which I'm actually using to record with the video with. And this is one from Tiffin, the only high quality filter that I own right now. This Black Pro Mist 1/4 quality Black Pro Mist, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it gets, you know, it kind of blooms the highlights, creates a much more pleasing, less digitally sharp, and it kind of blooms the highlights. It blows them out a little bit nicer, and it just creates a much more aesthetic image. And if you guys want to learn more about these filters and which filters you might need, click up here. I have a full dedicated video that talks about the filters and which filter to actually use. And I also forgot to mention, we have this side pouch area here. Up here is where I carry my SD card holder. This is the SD card holder right here. It's waterproof. Let me open it. This is a waterproof case. Essentially, it prevents water from getting in, and it can hold micro SD cards and full-size SD cards. So I carry a lot of SD cards. Half of them are being used right now for the recording of this video. And also, we got these 2 little mesh pockets here. This one carries miscellaneous. Like, I have this pouch here that carries my step up / step down rings. These are step up, step down rings, so I could put my 77mm filter on lenses that have a smaller filter thread size, and that's kind of what I keep them in here so they don't scratch anything. That's where I keep that. And on the bottom mesh pouch, I keep extra batteries. This is where I keep all of my Sony camera batteries. As you guys can see, all of my Sony camera batteries. I keep about 5 in here. I have 6 batteries in total. I have 5 in here and 1 inside the camera. And so yeah, I think that's honestly it. I think we've legitimately went through the entire bag. That is pretty much all I carry inside my camera bag. Simple, easy. It's a nice, beautiful, stylish bag that gets the job done really nicely. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, make sure and slap the like button. Subscribe if you're new here. We're so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers. Really, it will be amazing if we can hit that milestone by the end of January, or hopefully early February we can hit that milestone. And also, if you're interested in picking up any of the items I listed in today's video, you guys can click the link down in the description. You guys can check out all the products I mentioned down below. And yeah, so I think that'll be it. Go out, shoot some photos, shoot some videos, enjoy the process, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.